Margaret walked slowly into the small roadside diner, holding tightly onto her grandson Ethan's arm. The bell above the door rang softly as they entered. The place smelled of coffee, fried eggs, and warm bread. It was quiet, with only a few people sitting at scattered tables. Sunlight slipped in through the window, making dust float in the air. Margaret's body was weak, but her eyes were sharp. She noticed everything: the cracked floor tiles, faded pictures on the wall, the sound of plates clinking behind the counter. Ethan helped her sit down in a booth near the window, smiled and asked if she was comfortable. She nodded, resting her thin hands on the table. As Ethan looked at the menu, a young waitress walked toward them. Her name tag read Lily. She had brown hair tied back and wore a simple blue uniform. She smiled kindly, the kind of smile given to strangers every day. She opened her mouth to greet them. Margaret froze. Her eyes locked onto the waitress's face. More than her face, it was her eyes. Margaret's breath caught in her chest. Her fingers began to shake. The noise of the diner faded away, as if the world had gone quiet just for her. Lily noticed the old woman staring and felt unsure. She shifted her weight and waited, still holding her notepad. Margaret leaned forward slightly. Her voice came out low and trembling. "You have my granddaughter's eyes." Ethan looked up sharply. He felt his stomach tighten. Lily blinked in surprise and gave a small laugh, thinking it was just a sweet mistake. "That's kind of you," she said gently. "I hear that sometimes." But Margaret was not smiling. Her eyes filled with tears. She shook her head slowly. "No," she whispered. "They are hers. I would know them anywhere." The table went silent. Ethan felt embarrassed and worried. He touched his grandmother's hand, trying to calm her. "Grandma," he said softly, "you're tired. Let's just order." Margaret did not answer him. She was still looking at Lily, as if afraid she might disappear if she looked away. Lily felt a strange pull in her chest. Something about the old woman's voice made her uneasy. For a moment, she felt like she was standing in front of someone she had known a long time ago, even though she knew that was impossible. She took their order and walked away, but her steps felt heavy. As she poured coffee behind the counter, her hands shook slightly. She did not understand why. Ethan tried to change the subject, but Margaret barely ate. Her thoughts were far away. Images moved in her mind: a little girl running through tall grass, a soft laugh, a pair of bright eyes looking up at her. Lily glanced over at the booth without meaning to. Each time their eyes met, a strange feeling passed between them: confusion, curiosity, something deeper she could not name. When Lily brought the bill, Margaret reached out and gently touched her wrist. Lily stiffened, but did not pull away. "What is your name, dear?" Margaret asked. "Lily," she replied. Margaret nodded slowly, as if the name meant something important. Lily felt a chill run through her body. As they left the diner, Ethan helped his grandmother back to the car. He looked through the window once more and saw Lily watching them go. Their eyes met again, and this time, neither of them looked away. Neither of them knew it yet, but something had been awakened. A memory without words. A bond older than understanding, and the first thread of a story that refused to stay buried. That night, Margaret could not sleep. She lay in her bed with her eyes open, staring at the dark ceiling. The image of the waitress's eyes stayed with her. No matter how hard she tried, it would not fade. She had seen those eyes before, long ago, filled with laughter and trust. Her heart ached with an old pain she had carried for years. Ethan sat in the living room, listening to the quiet sounds of the house. He felt uneasy. His grandmother's words at the diner would not leave his mind. "You have my granddaughter's eyes." In another part of town, Lily stood in front of her bathroom mirror. She leaned closer, studying her own reflection. Her eyes stared back at her, brown with small golden flecks near the center. She had seen them every day of her life, yet tonight they felt unfamiliar. Her chest felt tight, and she did not know why. She was standing in a wide-open field, under a bright sky. The grass brushed against her legs as she ran. "I know what I saw," she said. "I am not confused." "Grandma, it's been many years. You miss her. That can make things feel real." "And souls do not always vanish the way bodies do." Ethan had no answer for that. He'd grown up hearing stories of Claire, the granddaughter who disappeared before he was born. The family had stopped talking about her over time, but Margaret never forgot. Back at the diner, Lily tried to focus on her work. She refilled cups and wiped tables, but her thoughts drifted. Every sound felt louder. Every face felt strange. When the door opened, her heart jumped, even though she did not know why. During her break, she searched through an old box she kept at home. Inside were papers from the day she was adopted. That evening, Ethan returned to the diner alone. He told himself it was only for coffee. When Lily saw him, she felt relief she could not explain. They spoke carefully at first. Ethan apologized for his grandmother's behavior. Lily shook her head and said it was fine. Then she asked quietly, "Who was your granddaughter?" The moment the name was spoken, Lily felt dizzy. The room tilted slightly. She grabbed the counter to steady herself. "I don't know why," she said slowly, "but that name feels heavy." Ethan felt a chill run through him. Outside, the sky darkened as clouds gathered. Neither of them noticed the coming storm. Somewhere deep within Lily, a door had cracked open, and on the other side waited a past that refused to stay silent. The storm arrived during the night. Rain hit the windows hard, and thunder rolled across the sky. Lily sat awake in her bed, listening. Every sound made her feel alert, as if something important was close. She pressed her hands together and tried to calm her thoughts, but her mind would not slow down. Claire. The name echoed inside her head. She did not know why it affected her so deeply. She had never heard it before, yet it felt tied to her in a way she could not explain. Across town, Ethan paced the living room. He had tried to sleep, but the image of Lily gripping the counter replayed again and again. He remembered the fear in her eyes when he said the name. It was not normal fear. It was shock mixed with recognition. The next day, Ethan convinced Margaret to return to the diner. When Lily saw them walk in, her heart began to pound. She felt nervous but also relieved. Margaret smiled the moment she saw Lily, a soft smile filled with certainty. "You came back," Margaret said. Lily nodded. "I've been thinking about you." Lily leaned forward. The picture showed a young girl standing beside an older woman. The girl's eyes stopped her breath. They were her eyes. "That was my granddaughter," Margaret said. Name was Claire. But his chest felt tight as he watched Lily stare at the photo. In its place, she saw a little girl crying near a road. Laved headlights flashed. A woman screamed her name. Lily gasped and gripped the table. Margaret closed her eyes. Her voice was steady but filled with pain. "That was the night she disappeared. Silence filled the diner. The truth hovered between them, heavy and frightening. Over the next days, Lily and Ethan spent time together. They talked, walked, and shared meals. Their connection grew fast but felt natural. They finished each other's sentences without trying. They laughed at the same small things, felt easy as if their souls moved at the same pace. But fear followed them. Lily worried that she was losing herself. Ethan worried about what loving her might mean. One afternoon, Lily visited Margaret alone. Margaret held Lily's hands and looked into her eyes. "You are not a replacement," she said, "or a return." Lily felt tears fall. "I don't know who I am anymore." Margaret squeezed her hands. "You are who you choose to be." When Lily awoke, she felt calm for the first time. Margaret's health began to fail quickly. Some days she could walk on her own. Other days she barely had the strength to sit up. Ethan stayed close, helping her with meals and medicine. He tried to stay calm, but fear followed him everywhere. He felt time slipping through his hands. Lily visited often. Each time she entered the house, memories stirred inside her. The sound of the hallway floor, the smell of old books, the way sunlight fell through the window. None of it made sense, yet all of it felt familiar. One afternoon, Margaret asked Lily to sit beside her bed. Ethan stood near the door, giving them space. "I don't have much time," Margaret said. "I need to tell you the rest." Lily listened closely. Margaret spoke of the night Claire vanished, a family gathering, a short walk near the road, a moment of distraction. Then fear, panic, silence. "We searched for years," Margaret said. "We never stopped hoping. But hope grows tired." Lily's chest felt tight. "I remember headlights," she said slowly, "in cold rain. I remember hiding." Margaret nodded. Tears rolled down her face. Survived. That night, Lily walked alone through the town. Her thoughts felt heavy. Wondered if her life had been borrowed from someone else. She wondered if loving Ethan was wrong. Ethan found her sitting on a bench near the park. He sat beside her without speaking. "I feel like I don't belong anywhere," Lily said. Ethan looked at her. "You belong where you choose to stay." She turned to him. "What if my past hurts you?" He answered without hesitation. "Then we face it together." Their hands met. Neither pulled away. The next morning, Lily received a call from the adoption office. A file had been reopened. New information had been found. They asked her to come in. The records confirmed what she feared and hoped. She had been found near a highway during a storm. No family came forward. Her name had been unknown. Lily felt the weight of the truth settle in her bones. When she returned to Margaret's house, she found Ethan sitting alone. Margaret had fallen asleep, her breathing slow and uneven. "She knows," Ethan said quietly. Lily nodded. They sat together in silence, listening to the clock on the wall. Later that night, Margaret woke and asked to see Lily. Her eyes were weak but clear. "You came back to finish living," she said, "not to relive pain." Lily leaned close. "I'm scared." Margaret smiled faintly. Love always asks for courage. She reached for Ethan's hand and placed it over Lily's. "Do not let fear cut the thread between you," Margaret said. As dawn broke, Margaret's breathing slowed. The room grew still. Lily felt warmth pass through her chest, like a quiet goodbye. Outside, the sky changed color. Ethan and Lily stood together, holding hands, knowing nothing would ever be the same. But the truth was still unfolding. And one final choice remained, waiting just ahead. The house felt empty after Margaret was gone. The rooms were quiet, and the air felt still. Ethan moved slowly, as if afraid to disturb something that could not be seen. Lily stayed close, helping where she could, though she felt like a visitor in a place that once felt like home. After the funeral, Lily stood alone in the garden behind the house. The wind moved softly through the trees, She closed her eyes and took a deep breath. For the first time, the memories did not frighten her. They felt settled, like pages placed back into the right order. Ethan joined her. He did not speak at first. He simply stood beside her. "I was afraid you would leave," he said. Lily looked at him. "I thought about it. Thought maybe walking away would be easier." He nodded, and she met his eyes. But love is not something you run from. In the weeks that followed, Lily made a choice. She kept her name. She kept her life. She did not erase the past, but she did not live inside it either. She visited the diner less and began training for a new job. She wanted a future that felt earned, not borrowed. Ethan supported her through every step. Their bond was tested by grief, by doubt, and by fear. At each time, they chose honesty. They spoke when silence felt safer. They stayed when leaving felt easier. One evening, Lily returned to the diner one last time. She sat at the same booth where it all began. The waitress who served her smiled, unaware of the history carried in that space. Lily looked around and felt peace. The pull was gone. Questions had answers. Months later, Ethan and Lily stood near the road where Claire had vanished long ago. The place no longer felt cold. Lily placed flowers near the edge of the grass. "I remember enough," she said, "and I forgive the rest." Ethan wrapped his arm around her. "That's enough." As they walked away, Lily felt something lift inside her. Not loss, not pain, release. Years passed. Lily and Ethan built a life filled with simple joys. Morning coffee, shared laughter, quiet nights, love that did not demand proof. One afternoon, Lily watched her young daughter playing in the yard. The child looked up and smiled. Her eyes were bright, familiar, and full of life. Lily felt no fear, only gratitude. Inside, a framed photo sat on the shelf. Margaret smiling beside a little girl, the past and present sharing the same space. Lily understood now. Some souls return not to repeat a story, but to finish healing it. As the sun set, Lily whispered a thank you to the air around her, for the memories, for the love, for the chance to choose her own ending. And somewhere beyond what could be seen, a long broken thread finally rested whole.